Hi everyone, I'm Gill Hobbs with another video using alternative colours within a design aimed at beginners and possibly for more experienced painters too. These skates are my design team project for Cuddly using DecoArt products. The link for the step-by-step tutorial is in the description box. You may have a colour coordinated Christmas tree and red and white may not be part of that scheme. This video will help you to find the combination of colours for a different colourway. I've done a Google search and found some interesting combinations. Turquoise with orange, teal and cranberry, purples and blue, and various blues with white. There's even brown and white, and there's also gold, bronze and silver. As you can see, I've played with these colours and created a collection of samples for future reference. The demonstration today is how I create one of these samples using pastel coloured card, Americana Weathered Wood Crackling Medium, Hauser Light Green and Titanium Snow White. A link for a really good video on how to use weathered wood is in the description box. Using a number 10 or 12 flat brush, paint half of the card with titanium white and paint the other half with Hauser Light Green. You will need at least 2 coats of paint for an opaque finish and dry between coats. Paint on a layer of weathered wood. Load the brush, work quickly, always in the same direction, and don't overwork it. You want an all-over gloss finish. Leave it to air dry for approximately 60 minutes or speed dry with a heat gun or hair dryer. It may still be slightly sticky. Fully load the brush with white and paint over the Hauser Light Green. Work quickly, add more paint when needed. A thin coat will allow the base coat to show through. Try not to overwork it, and if it starts to pull off, leave it alone. Wash the brush and then fully load the brush with Hauser Light Green and paint over the white in the same way and dry the 2 colours. This creates unique outcomes every time. Sometimes it works just right, and then sometimes it doesn't. But hey ho, this is, after all, hand painted. The next step is finding the right colours needed to shade on this sample. When we use a pattern pack, the shading colours are listed and we follow the instructions. When altering colours, it can be a hit or miss experience, but there is a lot of help and information to be found on the DecoArt website, and the link is in the description box. They have a learning section where you can find a shading and highlight chart for Americana paint. This chart will name the colours that work best with each other to add dimension to your project. It is a useful guide to use. The shading colour for titanium white is slate grey, and for Hauser light green it is Hauser medium green. With a half angle brush, shade the white with a float of slate grey. This is a little harsh for my liking. I'm going to try another float with a brush mix of slate grey and a touch of Hauser light green. And by a touch, I mean just a tiny bit of colour on the corner of my brush. And I'm also experimenting with Hauser light green and a touch of slate grey. This gives me 3 shading options. After all, I'm not shading on just titanium white, and the brush mixes pull in the green base coat and softens the float on the sample. Float Hauser medium green on the Hauser light green and dry all 4 colours. And finally cut off the spare card for each sample. By playing with colour on card, I don't waste my MDF shapes. If the colours don't work together, it's just a piece of card to throw in the bin. When I'm happy with the outcome, I write the colours that I've used on the back for future reference. All the shading colours I've used on these samples can be found on my blog, From Little Acorns. The link is in the description box. Using your samples, these are small enough to move around and big enough to have a good idea on what they look like together. The 3 metallic samples are for the skate blade. Pair them up with the different colour swatches and pick which you like best. I prefer the crackled silver with most of these colours, but I also like the gold crackle with dioxazine purple and the cranberry wine. It all depends on your personal taste. You may prefer the plain uncrackled colours too. Have fun with this technique and don't be afraid to try something new. And until next time, happy painting! Leave it to air dry for approximately same place. Back a bit. Leave it to air dry for approximately 60 minutes or speed dry with a heat. Oh, it gets worse. Lovely, I got a blip with the charger now.